Hey guys, welcome back to my final mock draft of the NFL draft, including trades. If you guys do enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, tomorrow I will be streaming the first round of the NFL draft. I cannot wait. I've been excited this entire month and a half, 2 months I've been planning on doing this. But let's get into the video. Yeah, it's gonna be a little weird, okay? So for some reason, straight up, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not letting me capture this screen. It has the mock draft. So let's get into it. So number one overall, I have Kvon going to the Jaguars, and with this pick, I think the Jaguars get better. They just extended today Cam Robinson. He's officially been extended. So good for them and good for Cam Robinson. They officially extend their starting left tackle. But at right tackle, they still have Walker Little and Jawan Taylor fighting it out. And whoever loses that is probably going to kick inside the right guard. But you still need a franchise left guard. And Kvon is that guy who can be your versatile piece all over the offensive line. Whether it's left tackle, left guard, right tackle. He can play 4 of the 5 positions, maybe even all 5 positions for this team. And they do have Brandon Scherf. They swapped him and Andrew Norwell, basically, in free agency. They just signed away each other's guards, them in Washington. So Kvon can come in, start at left guard for them, and basically become a almost day one All-Pro. And that's something that's very rare that you can get at in this in a draft. Is a guaranteed. There we go. Is a guaranteed franchise piece. I'm trying to make it easy for you guys. A guaranteed franchise piece is very hard to get in the NFL draft, and the fact that I think the Jaguars can get it at number 1 overall, that's very good. Number 2 overall is gonna be the Lions, and as you can see, the Lions are gonna grab Aiden Hutchinson, a Michigan-born guy, went to Michigan, gonna stay in Michigan for his career. I think this is the franchise piece they need off the edge to really become that elite defense that they need. Dan Campbell wants to have an elite defense. That defensive staff wants to be elite. I love the culture that Detroit is having right now, that they're trying to build. I love the culture. And I think Aiden Hutchinson plays into that culture very well. And he's a scheme fit. He's also just a game wrecker. Next up is Kayvon Thibodeau to the Texans at number 3. The Texans need that solidified star on the defense. They have an offensive star, I guess, in Davis Mills. We'll see what he becomes in year 2. But you need that guy on defense as well to set the tone and set the standard. And I think Kayvon Thibodeau negate all of the off-the-field wonders that people are all of a sudden having. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is a bona fide star defensive end. Now, will he ever become a top 3 edge in the NFL? I don't think anyone in this class will. But I think he'll be a very good starter and with upside to be in the Pro Bowl. And again, while Lovie Smith is not a defensive edge coach, he is a defensive-minded head coach. And he has a secondary history, but I think him and Kayvon Thibodeau would get along really well. And I trust their system and their culture that they're setting up, that they get guys who want to be there. They get guys who have to revitalize their career because they're either veterans or they never panned out in the draft. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is falling because people are trying to underrate him. And I think the Texans are a perfect team to grab him. At number 4, I have the Jets grabbing Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I think for the Jets, this is a home run of a pick. You now have 2 very good corners. One of them who I think could be a lockdown number 1 Pro Bowl caliber corner, and the other being in Bryce Hall. Then you have Javelin Guidry, you have Michael Carter Jr., Michael Carter the second, sorry. You have a bunch of guys who can fight for that slot position, but you would have a bona fide corner 1 in Sauce Gardner, who would be a Pro Bowl level corner, opposite of Bryce Hall, who can be a very good corner 2. And the rest of your corner class fight out for that slot corner position. And you have a bunch of depth at that position. Corner is one of those positions where you got to have 4 or 5 guys who you trust can play every single snap. And I think that the Jets, if they get Ahmad Sauce Gardner at 4, they start building that room. And at number 5, the Giants, they grabbed Derek Stingley Jr. They could have gone offensive line, right? They could have gone like an Evan Neal. But I think Evan Neal is a solidified, bona fide left tackle only. I don't think he can make the shift out to right tackle. So I think it'd be smart for them to grab Derek Stingley Jr., grab the second best corner in the class. They've been trying to trade James Bradbury and the other corner they signed. For whatever reason, David Gettleman signed a bunch of dudes to a big contracts, and now the new Brandon Bean. No, it's not Brandon Bean. Joe Sheen, right? Joe Sheen and Brian Dable. they're trying to clear house of all those bad contracts and bad players. So if they trade one of their starting corners, that position then becomes a need, and Derek Stingley Jr. would fill that for the next 10 years, hopefully. Number 6, we have the Panthers going Evan Neal. The Panthers are a team that are in the know for Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, and they've apparently already told Sam Darnold that they are going to be adding a quarterback to that room, whether through the draft or through the trade this weekend. And I'm going to be interested to see what they do. Now, they could draft a quarterback here. There are rumors that they're going to do that. I don't think there's a quarterback, though, in the first round for this year. I think they're all second and third round picks. But in this mock draft, I do have a quarterback going in the first round to a team. But I think this team is perfectly situated to help any young quarterback develop. And I don't think the Panthers are that team. I think they have a head coach who's on the hot seat, a GM on the hot seat. They have an offense not set or ready for a rookie quarterback. They need to find someone who's been in the league and they know what their skill set is. And they can build an offense around that skill set. Malik Willis needs time to develop. Kenny Pickett probably isn't going to be a starter. Sam Howell and Carson Strong, and I'm missing the other dude. All of these quarterbacks need time to develop, and I have a feeling that with the Panthers, because everyone's trying to fight for their jobs right now, they're going to push a rookie quarterback out there and fail. So just grab Evan Neal. He's definitely the best overall tackle in the class, but I think Ike Mekwonu is more versatile, so he's higher on the board for me. But Evan Neal is the best all-around tackle, and the Panthers get that at 6. That's an amazing value. At number 7, I have the Giants going Charles Cross at right tackle. He does play left tackle at Mississippi State, but I do think he has the know-all to swap to the right side of the line. And if they can get him and Andrew Thomas together, that's a very good pairing at the tackle positions. Andrew Thomas had a really good 2021 season after having a really bad 2020 rookie year. He had a really good 21 season, and I think that no matter what, they need to fix this offensive line for whatever quarterback they're going to draft or keep Daniel Jones. We don't know. Is Daniel Jones going to be there next year? We don't know. Might as well start building the offensive line for Saquon Barkley, whatever running back they want in the future, and the next quarterback. Because even if they don't keep Daniel Jones, this offensive line is not good. It is not good. You got to keep developing. You got to keep drafting and try and fix that offensive line. Next up is Jameson Williams. Again, for me, I think Jameson Williams is one of, if not the best receiver in this class. Him and Garrett Wilson are my 1A and 1B. However you want to put them, you can put them. But I do think they're 1A and 1B. And if Jameson Williams was never hurt, I think he's the clear number 1. But because of his injury, I think that might cause something his rookie year. And if I'm a team that is trying to win right now, I'm going with Garrett Wilson. But since Atlanta is not trying to win right now, they can grab Jameson Williams and ease him back in the football shape. Like, if the Packers or the Chiefs wanted Jameson Williams, they're going to have to, let him ease back in the football. Let him start trusting that leg again after the ACL tear. That's why I'm like, okay, let's let Atlanta take a receiver who doesn't need to be fully healthy immediately because they're not going to win a lot of games this year. Let them draft a guy knowing that next year he'll be full strength from day one. And they'll have Calvin Ridley back with Kyle Pitts, with whatever other receiver they might draft in this draft or in free agency. I think if the Falcons go this route and start building for the next quarterback of this franchise, that's what I would do. I would really, really love them to see I would love to see the Falcons and a lot of these really bad teams build like the Broncos did. You keep trying at quarterback with free agents or really late, day 2, day 3 picks at quarterback until you suck so bad. You either have a team built for a veteran quarterback or you draft a really high rookie. And I think the Falcons need to go that route. And I think Jameson Williams helps them go that route. Doesn't need to start day 1 and can just ease his way back into football shape. Number 9, I have the Seahawks going George Karlaftis. Now, this is why I actually think Baker Mayfield is going to go. I would not be surprised that if George Karlaftis gets picked at number 9, I think we're going to hear news that same day that Baker Mayfield is being traded to the Seahawks. But if Baker Mayfield does not get traded to the Seahawks, I do see this being a quarterback. But again, I still think Baker Mayfield is going to be traded to the Seahawks. So I'm going to put my name on this right now. If George Karlaftis gets picked at number 9, or anyone for the matter that is not a quarterback at number 9, it is a 100% guarantee. 100% guarantee that Baker Mayfield is being traded to the Seahawks. I don't care. I will slap the table constantly during the draft. That if there's not a quarterback drafted at number 9 to the Seahawks, they're in talks with the Browns for Baker Mayfield. They just got to figure out what compensation is. But that's all I'm going to say. George Karlaftis, he becomes that franchise edge that the Seahawks need. They have Carlos Dunlap. They have a couple, lower end starters. But I really do think that George Karlaftis can come in and set the edge for the next defensive regime that they're going to do. And number 10. So let me explain this pick a little bit. So number 10 currently owned by the Jets. I have the Jets trading number 10 for Deebo Samuel or the 49ers. So the 49ers now have number 10 overall in exchange for Deebo Samuel. So the Jets get their wide receiver. And now the 49ers then trade to the Seahawks. To Seattle. Not Seattle. Oh, my Lord. They trade to the Steelers. And the Steelers give up a first, a third, and a future third to move up from 20 to 10. And they grab Malik Willis. This is the only landing spot in the league where I believe Malik Willis will become a high-end starter. This is the only team in the league that I truly believe that if Malik Willis goes to that team, to the Steelers, he will become a high-end starter. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it one more time. Malik Willis, if he goes to the Steelers at 10 or whatever pick in the draft, he will succeed. For whatever reason, Mike Tomlin is a god at development, and I think Malik Willis needs development. He can sit behind Mitchell Trubisky for a season, maybe even 2 seasons. But Malik Willis would be amazing in this system. He'd be amazing with Mike Tomlin and their offensive scheme. This is the only team in the league that I believe Malik Willis will succeed with. The Saints, maybe. Another team that needs a quarterback. Let me think of them real quick. Another team that needs a quarterback. The Titans. I think the Titans. There's a very high chance that the Titans take a premium quarterback with a premium pick. But I still say the Steelers are the number 1 team that I want to draft a quarterback in the first round because they're the only organization that I truly do trust. As a Browns fan, I'm saying this. I only trust the Steelers to develop any player in the NFL draft into a very good, serviceable starter or even a high-end starter. Next up is Trent McDuffie to Washington. Again, Washington, I'm gonna keep beating the table for this one as well. Washington is going a corner. They're not going quarterback. They're not going wide receiver. They're not going defensive line or linebacker. It is a corner. They have 2 aging veterans at the cornerback position, and I think Trent McDuffie fits them perfectly because Trent McDuffie can play corner and safety. He is the best version of a hybrid secondary player we have in this draft. If Trent McDuffie does not succeed at cornerback, he will succeed at safety. His ball hawking skills, his pass breakups, his versatility, his elite athleticism and elusiveness, I really do think that Trent McDuffie will, no matter what, succeed. Whether it's at corner or at safety, he can either become their slot corner day one and play that hybrid where he backs off of the slot corner position and goes into a free safety position. I don't care. He's gonna succeed. And you have William Jackson and Kendall Fuller, both 29 and 30 years old. Trent McDuffie is the future at that position. And if he is in the future at cornerback 1, he's the future at safety 1. At number 12, we have Trayvon Walker. So I think the Vikings are a team that needs a Trayvon Walker. I think Trayvon Walker is being a little overhyped right now. I don't see him going in the top 10. I don't see it. I could care less about his upside. I'm being serious. I could care less. He showed no, and I mean 0 signs of him being a pass rusher. Now again, just like the Patriots in the NFL, Trayvon Walker played a specific role in a specific defense. That's why you don't see guys leave the Patriots and be successful. Whether it's Jamie Collins, whether it's Kyle Van Noy, whether it's Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan. I'm trying to think of the other linebacker or the other defensive lineman. Danny Shelton. It doesn't matter. The minute they leave the Patriots, they fail. Because the Patriots use them in very specific ways that other teams can't. And I think Trayvon Walker needs to go to a system where he is going to be the primary run defender. And guess what? The Vikings need a primary run defender. Now, could he develop and maybe get a little bit of pass rushing skills? Sure. I'm not going to say no. But I'm saying if they use him specifically and only for a run defender and a run specialist, he's going to succeed with the Vikings. Next up is the Packers. I have them trading up with the Texans, giving up a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and a future fourth-round pick to move up from 22 to 13 and grab Garrett Wilson. They need a wide receiver 1. They need an elite wide receiver 1 for Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson would be an insane compliments for Aaron Rodgers. And again, like Garrett Wilson and Jameson Williams are 1A, 1B, however you want to put them. I think Garrett Wilson is the better impact receiver day one. I think Jameson Williams will have a better career. That's just, that's how I feel about it. But again, the Packers need an impact receiver day one. The Falcons do not. They want to stink this year. They want to suck. So Jameson Williams can, slowly come back from injury, while Garrett Wilson needs to come in and play day one and be the best receiver on a team. And the Packers need that. Next up, I have the Baltimore Ravens trading down with the Chargers to grab Zion Johnson. If the Chargers can get Zion Johnson at 14, they'd have an offensive line of Rashawn Slater, All-Pro Pro Bowler, Zion Johnson, who I believe can be an All-Pro Pro Bowler his first year, Corey Linsley, an All-Pro Pro Bowler center, at left tackle, left guard, and center. Now, the right guard and right tackle are not great. You can move Matt Filer back out to right tackle, where I feel like he's a better player. And then you have Storm Norton at right guard, who I think is a serviceable starter at right guard. But you could have a left tackle, left guard, and center trio that is, unmatched in the NFL. Really. Truly almost unmatched. For Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, help those guys out. Zion Johnson is definitely the best interior lineman in this class, and I'm happy he's been getting the hype recently. I used to have him towards the end of the first round because I didn't want to be that one weird guy who had, someone really, really high. But screw it. I believe in Zion Johnson, and I was higher on, Travis Jones. I was higher on Kyra Elam than a lot of guys are. Dylan Parham is my guy. Kellen Deitch is my guy. Zion Johnson was one of my guys, and I'm happy that he's finally getting the hype that he deserves. Next up is Kyle Hamilton. He does slip out of the top 10, just based on, I don't think anyone needs a safety in the top 10. The Giants could use a safety, but again, they grabbed Derek Stingley Jr., they can grab a safety in the second, third round. I think Kyle Hamilton is going to fall, not mainly because of his skill set, but because of draft position. And the Eagles could use a safety linebacker hybrid. Kyle Hamilton's going to play that strong safety role. He's going to play in the box a lot. And because of that, he's going to be playing a lot of linebacker roles. And I think the Eagles need a linebacker and a strong safety. And I think Kyle Hamilton would fit perfectly in the opposite of Anthony Harris. And that'd be an amazing player for a really good defense. Chris Olave at 16 to the Saints. I thought about quarterback. I thought about tackle. But Chris Olave was there at 16. You need a wide receiver, too, to pair with Michael Thomas. And I think Chris Olave is the best wide receiver, 2 in the class. There's different receivers. There's X, Y, and Z. X is receiver 1. Y is receiver 2. Z is your slot receiver. While I think Jameson Williams and Garrett Wilson are the best wide receiver 1, I think Sky Moore is the best slot receiver. I think Chris Olave is the best wide receiver 2. That is not a diss on Chris Olave. That is I think your skill set is best fit for wide receiver 2, and you excel at it. You are one of the best receivers at this position on the receiver core. And I think the Saints could use him. Jameis Winston could use him. Wow. And that offense could really use him. Let me go back up to the top. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. I just don't want to give away too many picks. So I have to give away, I'll give away these 3 picks, whatever. So at 17, the Ravens trade down, and they grab David Ojabo out of Michigan. I feel like I keep talking about David Ojabo, but I'm going to keep doing it until the draft happens. David Ojabo, Odafe Owe, best friends, all throughout high school and college. David Ojabo went to Michigan. Guess what? Jim and John Harbaugh are brothers, and one of them coaches Michigan, the other coaches Ravens. And Michigan's defensive coordinator is the new Ravens defensive coordinator. Let me say that again. The old Michigan DC who coached and trained up David Ojabo to a first-round pick is now the defensive coordinator of the Ravens. How perfect of a story is that? Yes, he does have a torn Achilles. He probably won't play year 1 or will play a very limited role in year 1. I still think David Ojabo is one of the top 15 players in this draft, but because of his injury, he's going to slip. And I think the Ravens need to account for that and be okay with taking him in round 1, knowing he's going to have a redshirt rookie year. Next up is Devon Lloyd. I have the Patriots trading up from 21 to 18 with the Saints. Not with the Saints, with the Eagles to grab Devon Lloyd. Otherwise, I would have had the Eagles grab Devon Lloyd, but I think the Patriots need to grab Devon Lloyd. He is Dante Hightower. He is a little old. He's 23, 24, but he is the new Dante Hightower of this NFL draft. He's a perfect replica of him, and I think the Patriots, with Deontay Hightower no longer on the team, they need to grab that thumper of a linebacker who can really run the defense like Dante Hightower did. And the Saints, they grab their left tackle in Bernard Raymond. He's a project pick, but if he can develop how everyone is hoping he can develop, Bernard Raymond, or Ryman, however you pronounce his name, is going to be one of the best tackles in this class. And that offensive line is already set. They have an amazing offensive line. They have Cesar Ruiz, Ryan Ramczyk, their right guard, who I can't remember the name of right now. Andres Pete is fine. He's not great, but he's overpaid. And Bernard Raymond would be an amazing offensive line for Jameis Winston and now Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara if he doesn't get suspended. That would be an amazing offensive line. They find their franchise left tackle and another wide receiver to pair up with Michael Thomas. That'd be an amazing first round for the Saints. At 20, this is going to be a little bit of a shocker, guys. I have George Pickens to the 49ers at 20 to replace Deebo Samuel. I know. George Pickens should not be in the first round. I'm already hearing it. I don't care. I like George Pickens. I've liked George Pickens the entire draft process. I always have him going top of the second round. But you know what? This is the final mock draft. I am punching the table for George Pickens. And I think with his route running, his really quick top-end speed, I don't think he's not like a deep threat speedster. He's a very quick, within 10-yard speedster. And that's what Deebo Samuel is. Deebo Samuel's fast. But George Pickens, on those end arounds and those bubble screens, he has that speed to do those. Now, does he have, where he can have a 4.2, 4.3 speed, 40 yards down the line? No. But he can get those really hard yards. And I think George Pickens, if he can go to the system with a Shanahan offense, he can really excel. Plus, he's a really good receiver, obviously. And at 21, I have the Eagles taking Tyler Linderbaum. This is a more of a joke of a pick. I kind of love it, though. But Tyler Linderbaum, he replaces Jason Kelce for the future. Give him a year to develop, and he'll become a franchise center. And again, I say this every mock draft again. The Eagles and the Cowboys have the funniest draft hatred. Obviously, they're divisional rivals. They have the funniest draft rivalry as well. The Eagles, they wanted CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys took him to spite him. The Cowboys wanted Dallas Goedert. The Eagles took him to spite them. It's just, I love it, and I want it to keep going. But yeah, he replaces Jason Kelce, fits their scheme, perfect replacements. Next up is the Texans. They grab Jordan Davis. Can you imagine a Jordan Davis, Kvon Thibodeau defensive line? That'd be amazing. I would love to watch that defensive line just wreak havoc in the run. I don't think a single team would get a yard. I don't think there's a single team in the league that could get 1 yard of rushing against that defensive front. Jordan Davis and Kvon Thibodeau. My mouth is watering over that idea. Again, Lovie Smith is really got to invest in that defense. He's known for his defense, and I think he helped build the Tampa 2 defense. And Tampa 2 relies a lot on defensive pressures to get that ball out quick, so your corners and safeties can do their work. Getting Jordan Davis and Kvon Thibodeau on the same roster, oh man. Next up is the Cardinals with Devontae Wyatt. I think the Cardinals need a D tackle. They have J.J. Watts. They lost Chandler Jones. They don't really have a D tackle. Devontae Wyatt is the perfect D tackle for this team. Next up is Next up is the Cowboys. I'm grabbing Jermaine Johnson II. This is a little bit. I'm gonna get a lot of hate from Cowboys fans, but I think Jermaine Johnson has a lot of great upside. I love Jermaine Johnson's skill set as a run defender and a pass rusher. I think he's a fit perfectly opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence. And you lost Randy Gregory. He is Randy Gregory. Their skill set is so closely alike. He has the potential to be a Randy Gregory, and I think that's exactly what you need, obviously, because you lost him. The Bills, they literally just need to grab a corner and a running back. That's the whole draft board for the Bills. Corner, running back, maybe an offensive lineman. But Andrew Booth Jr. is one of the best ball hawking corners in this draft, and the fact he's there at 25 for the Bills almost every time I do a mock draft, good for them. That's a pick I would write in stone. That's gonna happen. If Andrew Booth makes it to 25, I would put $500 that the Bills are gonna grab Andrew Booth Jr. I'd put $500. This is a little bit of a surprise pick. I have the Titans grabbing Treylon Burks. That's right, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. They tried it with Julio Jones to grab another receiver. It didn't work out. They need a receiver. And I think Treylon Burks would be a really good fit opposite of A.J. Brown. That'd be a scary receiving duo. If they can pay A.J. Brown and have Treylon Burks on the roster, and you have Derrick Henry obviously out of the backfield, That's a scary offense you have to go against. And again, I haven't said the Titans, there's a chance the Titans take a quarterback in round 1. I think they're definitely going to take one in day 2, whether it's round 2 or 3. I would be surprised the Titans don't take a quarterback to develop them. A Desmond Ridder would be amazing for this roster. But again, whether it's Tannehill or the future quarterback, start building that receiver core, you know? You are just the number 1 seed in the AFC. You are just the best team in the AFC. Keep going. Do not let your foot off the gas. Keep building, keep trying to win. Next up, I have the Buccaneers grabbing Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M. You guys already know, the Buccaneers don't have a whole lot of holes. The only other position outside of guard I thought about was defensive line. They have a lot of free agents still, and they haven't re-signed any of them. But Kenyon Green replaces Ali Marpet after he retired. They trade for Shaq Mason. They re-signed Ryan Jensen. They signed Russell Gage. They re-signed Leonard Fournette. They could use a tight end, but I think that's a day 2 pick. Again, defensive line still needed. But Kenyon Green has played all over the offensive line. Left tackle through right tackle. He's played every position on the offensive line. Versatility for injury and future. But for year 1, he'd be a phenomenal guard for them. Next is Lewis Cine. With the Packers, it's very look at their logos. I love how I just noticed that the Georgia and Packers logo literally next to each other is the exact same. Lewis Cine, I know you have Adrian Amos and you have Darnell Savage. Do you think either of those guys are good long term? Truly, do you think you're gonna have those guys long term past this year? If you can't say yes, you grab Lewis Cine because he is a really good safety that I think could play really well opposite of whatever safety you want to keep. I think he's really good, really versatile. And again, he can play that slot corner role as well. Yes, you have Rasul Douglas, Eric Stokes, Kevin Keane, and Jair Alexander. You have all those corners. But I think Lewis Cine could come in on nickel packages, and he can be that, third safety off the bench. They come in for rotational minutes. And as I always say, your secondary is only as good as your first bench player. Your third safety or your fourth corner, that's how good your secondary is. And I think Lewis Cine makes that secondary an elite secondary. Next is Drake London to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs only have a really big receiver. Drake London is 6'4", 220. I'd love to see him in the slot. I would love to see him in the slot. He ran a 4.6. A 4.69 reportedly is what he ran. At whatever it was, his 40-yard dash is a 4.69. He can't be an outside receiver. He cannot be an outside receiver. There's a 0% chance he can play wide receiver 1 or 2. He's got to be a slot guy. Until magically his speed goes up to a 4.48, at least somewhere in the 4.4s, he cannot be a boundary receiver. I could care less about his jump ball ability. That is another JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Do you guys remember JJ Arcega-Whiteside? No, you don't. Or you do. He's done nothing in the league because he was a jump ball receiver. What about N'Keal Harry? Exactly. They both ran slow, but they both could jump high and grab ball. I don't care. I can't have him as a receiver 1. He's got to be my slot receiver. Now, 6'4", 220 in the slot, that's insanely good. I would love to have Drake London in the slot. And that's what I think the Chiefs could do. They can have Juju Smith-Schuster on the outside, which isn't great, but he can play the outside role. You have McCole Hardman. You go and sign another receiver, or you draft another receiver in round 2 who can be a boundary receiver, like a Jahan Dotson, a John Mechie would be interesting, a Sky Moore maybe. I think he'd be a pretty okay outside receiver. But again, you build your receiver core around Drake London being a slot receiver. And I think Patrick Mahomes would love him as a slot receiver in 6'4". He'd be a matchup nightmare. And at 30, I have him grabbing Travis Jones. Travis Jones is one of my guys. I love Travis Jones. I think he's one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the class. I think he's worthy of a first-round pick. Him and Chris Jones together would be really good. He can play outside. He can play inside defensive line. He's just a really good defensive lineman. Next up is Kyra Elam to the Bengals. Again, another one of my guys. I love Kyra Elam. He had a really down 2020, but I think with the upside that he has, he can be a starting corner on a championship level team. Now, is he a Pro Bowler? Is he an all-pro guy? I can't say that. I don't think he is an all-pro guy. He's a fringe Pro Bowler, which is what you would like to have on a championship quality team. And the Bengals are a championship quality team. They could use him opposites of Chidobe Awuzie, because Eli Apple got burned. Now, was it 100% his fault? No. Like, when you're going up against the best receiver in the NFL in that season, it's very hard to beat him when you're not, Jalen Ramsey. And Kyra Elam, I think he takes Eli Apple's starting job opposite Chidobe Awuzie, and that'd be really good for the Bengals for the future. And next up, with the final pick of the first round, I have the Lions going Leo Chanal. Leo Chanal is one of my favorite linebackers in this class. He is a undersized, I guess, linebacker, but he is going to be a tackler. He loves to tackle. Had one of the best tackle rates in this draft and all of college football. I think the Lions could really use that kind of grits and, like, put your nose to the ground tackler, and that's exactly what I think Dan Campbell would love. But yeah, that's the first round. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next and when I go live for the NFL draft tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.